Good afternoon, y'all. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world, and a hot mess it is indeed. And today's hot mess, now I wasn't even going to come on here about this. I was trying to mind my business about this because I knew everybody was going to be talking about it, but I just had to come on here because I just seen so much, you know, interesting news surrounding it. But, President Trump and Vice President Vance exchange with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Now, before we get into this, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Please help get the message out that I have here. Basically, everything that I post here is just to help us elevate our frequencies. I like to share information that I know that you probably will not get from the mainstream media, which is the propagandist media. And I just know that a lot of things you guys don't get. And again, I'm talking to all my people out here watching, but primarily my Black people, okay? The people that look like me, because I know we get hoodwinked a lot of the time. But I have to say, I'm very happy and proud of y'all because majority of us are on the right side this time. That's the reason why Democrats felt that they had to let in so many illegals so that they can have a new voting bloc. So, shout out, and I'm proud of y'all for that. A lot of people are waking up and we are realizing that our interest does not lie with the Democratic Party at all. And it never has. And I'm just so thrilled that everybody's waking up to that. So with that, like, share, and subscribe. We're going to get right into this because it's a lot of stuff I want to show y'all. So I know this is going to go over. But I just feel like there's so many different things that, make up our money being involved in this war and stuff that I just know that a lot of us don't know about. You understand? I just know because many of us just vote Democrat across the board and we listen to whatever we're told in the media because a lot of us trust the media, and there was a time you could trust the media, but that has been a very, very long time ago. So the first thing I wanted to I wanted to watch this video first because I always want to take the time to show y'all conservative voices. Now, all of the people that I show you on here are Black most of the time. I watch everybody, but I just like to show y'all the Black ones because so you can see that there are people out there with a voice that is massive and they have lots of followers, lots of subscribers. This video I'm about to show you, over 300,000 people watched it. Okay. So more people watched it than he has subscribers. So I'm just letting you know that, there's a lot of things that you guys are missing and not looking at the independent media. I'm just telling you, you have to stop watching the mainstream media because it's very propagandized. It's very one-sided and you're missing a lot of important facts by not, listening to the mainstream media. So let me put my my earpiece on and I want you to watch this video. We're going to watch these videos in full because they give you so much good information and so many receipts that a lot of people don't know. There is no reason why Americans should be fighting for Ukraine, period. I just don't think that. I feel like mainstream media is leaving out a lot of what's important in the story of Ukraine and NATO and the EU and things like that. A lot of y'all don't even know what any of those things are. So I want you to listen to this young man here because I really like his the way he puts his stuff together. And I really wish you guys would really try to watch more independent media. Just watch it. I mean, you don't have to accept everything that's stated, you know what I'm saying? But it would be nice if you would at least listen. Sometimes you got to listen, just see another side of a story. You can't just be blind faith followers and hear one perspective all the time. So let's listen to this young man, Brandon Lehman. And I really like Brandon Lehman. I really like him, the way he puts his stuff together and the facts that he puts together. And he's just one of thousands that I wish y'all would watch.
24 hours after the debacle yesterday in the White House, President Zelensky of Ukraine proves Donald Trump was totally right when he said Zelensky was not there to talk about peace. He was there in bad faith. As this morning, Zelensky met with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to get another $2.5 billion loan to keep his war going. Also, Jake Tapper of CNN chimes in on the fiasco that happened at the White House and actually agrees that Trump was in the right. If you have Jake
Now,
Tapper,
the reason why I like to show y'all people like this, because Black people are the first person to call somebody that's not a follower of Democrats a coon, a racist, a black white supremacist, and all these names. But it's not that. It's just that we have certain facts and receipts that you're not getting, and we just form our own opinion that Democrats are not for us and that they're gaslighting us and they're lying to us and they're not helping any of us, not just Black people, but a majority of Americans. That's why majority of Americans voted against them.
saying that Donald Trump was in the right, you know Ukraine really screwed up here. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. But first, I want to say, people have been saying, where's my YouTube plaque? I should hang it up. I just want to point out that I have put it up right there. And so you might not always be able to see with my afro, but when my hair's in braids, you should be able to see it clearly. But I want to say thanks for all the support as usual. Let's make March an amazing month. Make sure you smash that like button. Let's get to 200,000 subscribers. Let's start with what Trump had to say about why Zelensky got kicked out of the White House yesterday.
We had a meeting today, as you know, with President Zelensky, and I would say it didn't work out exactly great. From his standpoint, I think he very much overplayed his hand. We're looking for peace. We're not looking for somebody that's going to sign up a strong power and then not make peace because they feel emboldened. And that's what I saw happening. I'm looking for peace. We're not looking to.
And see, the part that the mainstream media doesn't say was that they already discussed this deal. They all talked about it. All the Ukrainian, government people, whatever they had to have to oversee this deal, they all agreed to it. The whole reason why it was televised was so they could come on there and sign this deal. And then he gets in front of the cameras and tries to act cute and try to act like he doesn't want the war to end. So I'm sure it was very frustrating and shocking to them that he going to wait until they get in front of the cameras to try to renege on everything that was already agreed on.
To go into a 10-year war and play games. We want peace. And it was just my impression that if we do that, if we sign up, he's looking for something that I'm not looking for. He's looking to go on and fight. We're looking to end the death.
And see, this is why I say that Ukrainian president is crazy. He just wants people to give him more money, keep fighting, keep throwing his people into a meat grinder. And meanwhile, the prison industrial complex is getting our tax dollars to fund that war. So we pay the taxes to Ukraine. Ukraine takes the money and pays it into the prison industrial complex. All of those people make a ton of money. All of the people in Congress that make the policies to keep this war going get a kickback. And then we're sitting here without our billions of dollars and we're struggling, scrimping and scratching. I don't see why people don't get it.
2,000 people died this week. Soldiers, more than that, but 2,000 approximately.
They say it like 100,000 people on both sides. Do you want your kids to go and fight this war? Because I surely wouldn't send mine. I know the people that want to give more money to Ukraine to help them fight this war. Take your ass over there. Take your kids over there and fight it. Because I know y'all ain't trying to do that.
Typically, people died this week. Young Ukrainians and Russians. And somebody would say, why do you care about Ukraine and Russian soldiers? I care about them. I care about everybody.
Trump is literally trying to save lives in wars. And yet Democrats are so Trump deranged. They would rather see this bloodshed continue on in perpetuity and condemn Trump for trying to create.
You know why they wanted to continue? Because they're all getting money out of it. Or like he said, they just don't want to admit that they're wrong, and the people that are living through this, they don't want to see it go on. Ukraine does not have a leg to stand on. They're not going to win. They are not going to win. It's over. Just move on. Take this money that the United States is graciously giving your ass and rebuild your country and keep it moving.
Peace just because the orange man's doing it. Now, just for a little bit of context as to why this was so frustrating for both Donald Trump and JD Vance is because of the consistent, disingenuous, and bad faith behavior from Zelensky. They've been trying to negotiate this mineral deal for several weeks now. And just 10 days ago, Zelensky and the Secretary of State had an agreement on this mineral rights deal. All for Zelensky to go on television and say that they didn't have a deal.
Just like I'm saying, they already had this deal. They already made that's why he came here, was to sign it. Then he gets on camera and tried to be cute. You understand? But that's what he is. He's an actor. He tried to be cute and he tried to, prey on the hearts of American people that he get up there and, do what he did and think people are going to feel empathy for him, but it really backfired because most of Americans are like, fuck that war and don't give them shit. That's what most of America is saying. And they just did a poll where Americans don't feel that they trust him anymore, like 74%. So mainstream media is not telling you these things, okay? So you have to have discernment, and you have to look at other sources for news.
And he was going to reject it unless the United States included security guarantees.
Now check this out. Security guarantees my ass. Okay, you better take this money and go about your business, because security guarantees, they don't have enough people to fight their war. Russia has North Korea, China, and who else they got? Iran, South Africa, and Belarus. All of these nations are willing to help them fight. They better take that money and go sit down and chill. There's nowhere they're going to win. And you know what the security is going to be? Our people over here are going to fight for them. Our military going over there to fight for them. Fuck that. If y'all have to be completely crazy to want that deal. And good for President Trump for saying hell to the no. We're not giving you any money unless it's going to be for peace, period. I ain't mad at that. Only a damn fool would want to put their money into that and let that keep going to the point that they killed off a whole generation in Ukraine. Now they're picking off people off the street. You're going to see.
So Zelensky has shown a pattern of agreeing to deals in private and then trying to renegotiate them on live television. And so they renegotiated them again, and it was presumed they had a deal. That's the whole reason why he came to the White House, only for him to attempt the same stunt in the Oval Office right to Donald Trump's face. He knew he wasn't going to sign a deal. He just wanted to plead his case in front of the American media.
Exactly.
And
this is my point, is that Democrat propaganda media is, oh, he bullied him, oh, this, that, and the third. Who you going to allow to come to your house, ask for your money, and then tell you the terms of how that money's going to go, and talking shit to you and getting loud with you in your house? They did better than I would have did, because I would have been through his ass out, period. You understand? As soon as he tried to renege on the deal on camera, I would have blew him up and threw his ass out. I don't see why I don't even know why people are siding with this war. It's just ridiculous. It's no way we should be involved in this war. It has nothing to do with us. It's Europe, NATO bullshit. This shit don't have nothing to do with us. And I'm telling you, Trump already said that he would take us out of NATO if NATO don't get it together. Can you imagine what would happen to Europe without the United States and the rest of the world against them? I'm telling you, y'all better chill. Y'all better pay attention, and y'all better start looking for other news sources, because your ass is going to be grass.
To put public pressure on Trump in the negotiations. And he really thought that was going to work. He didn't think that would backfire. Trump wants to sign this deal so peace can happen, so we can make some money. Zelensky wants to sign this.
Okay, can we get to the part about the money? Why would any American, after all the billions and hundreds of billions we've given him and we're all struggling, why would any American have a problem for Trump saying, okay, we'll give you this money, but we want something in return for this investment? We ain't just going to throw you money. The days that you come into our country and demanding money is over. We'll give you the money, but we want this in return. What's wrong with that? You guys want to give your tax dollars over there for a war that don't have nothing to do with you? The war between you, Europe and Russia that don't have nothing to do with us? It's a proxy war. It's bullshit. There's no reason why we should be involved in this. And we've paid more money into this war than Europe, and it's their fucking war.
This deal so he can keep the fight going and use the American partnership as leverage to try to get a better deal out of Russia. And that's why Trump told him yesterday, you're gambling with World War III. And no less than...
And listen, he ain't lying about the World War III. I just told you about the BRICS. Now, the BRICS was forming because of how shady NATO and the West was being to the rest of the world, coming there, trying to pillage them, trying to steal all their resources, causing wars and everything, and making money off the military industrial complex and collapsing nations. That's what they do with our tax dollars, okay? That's what they do. So the rest of the world was like, fuck them. Let's all band together against them, okay? So can you imagine what would happen if Trump pulled America out of NATO? They wouldn't stand a chance. They wouldn't stand a chance. To me, that is peace. If the whole world can band together against The Bible says the whole world will band together against one demonic entity. And we are in that period. We are in this period right now. I know a lot of you don't believe in the Bible, and I know a lot of you have whatever faith you believe in or whatever, but I just feel that that is a true statement. The whole world is banding together against one demonic entity. And the Europeans have always been the one to pillage, rape, maim, steal resources, and collapse governments and stuff. And these nations are like, no, the fuck, you're not. You're not going to do that to us. And they're all banding together. You have to question why the whole entire world is banding together against Europe. Okay, the only Western countries is the United States and Canada. Canada ain't got no money. So if the United States drops out of it, the whole rest of the world will be in peace, and Europe will be suffering. Okay, that's what we're facing. So he's not lying when he's saying it's going to be World War III, because the rest of these countries is not playing about America and Europe. They're not playing anymore. They're tired of these people bully. You talk about the bully. The bully is always these European countries and the West. I like this president. I don't care what nobody say. I like this president, and I like the way he's moving.
24 hours later, here is Trump being proven right as Zelensky is grifting for money over in England.
Loan agreement, and I want to thank you.
Sure did. He left America and then went to Europe and begged them for some money.
And your ministry for your work in getting to this point. As you say,
well, she should be over in Europe, and they should be giving them money because the United States paid more money into that bullshit with NATO than anybody. So they should pay. It's their war. They feel like they have to stop Russia because Russia is some kind of threat to Europe or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And Russia is like, fuck out of here. You think you're going to come here and fight with us and try to collapse our government and steal our resources? We got something for you. And the whole rest of the world got behind Russia because they're trying to do it everywhere because they're globalists. They're globalists.
Unique amongst the G7, the money available from our loan agreement will enable you to use those funds in the way that you best see fit, including for military.
And then look what she's saying. We're going to give you just an asshole full of money, and you use it how you feel like using it. America's not going for it. The people of America is not going for it. Trump knows the people of America is not going for it because during his campaign, people said they didn't want to give no more money to Israel and Ukraine. So he already knows where the American people stand with this. So he want to do what the American people want to do, like an elected official supposed to do.
Procurement so that you can better defend your country. And of course, this is in addition to the £3 billion a year ongoing support from the United Kingdom to Ukraine, is about helping to secure the territorial integrity of Ukraine and protecting your security. But if I might say, it's bigger than that. It's about the security and prosperity of all of Europe. And we're pleased to play our part alongside you.
They can keep playing their part, but I'm telling you, once the United States hops out of NATO, it's a wrap for Europe. They better stop playing because the rest of the world is not playing anymore. They are done with these people. And if this doesn't go right and they don't end this war and stop playing, they are going to have it because the armies that Russia has coming for them, China, North Korea, even if America and Canada got involved, Canada barely has a military. You know, we have to protect them. You understand? So who's going to fight? You going to send your kids over there to fight it? No, all y'all sitting up there protesting. Take your ass over there and fight for Ukraine. How about that?
In the huge efforts and undertakings that you're making. But perhaps now is the moment to sign this loan agreement, Minister.
Not only did this prove Zelensky is a liar, but it proved that Europe and UK in this particular instance is also a liar. Just the other day, the UK Prime Minister was sitting in the Oval Office and told Trump to his face that the money that they were giving Ukraine wasn't in the form of a loan. And same with Macron of France, and same with the rest of Europe. They're lying through their teeth, saying that they're not giving this money to Ukraine in the form of a loan.
So you see what's happening? They're trying to be mad at Trump because Trump is like, we're going to give you this money. And he's not even really saying pay the money back. But he's just saying, we're going to give you this money in exchange for these minerals so we can kind of break even and have a, have an investment in your nation for all this money that we're giving you. And then Europe, and then the rest of the media, they get on TV and make it seem like what he's asking for is so bad, when Europe just said they're loaning the money. They're not giving them anything. We've given them billions, millions of dollars, maybe $1 billion or $3 billion. It's a ridiculous amount of money that we've given to Ukraine over this bullshit.
But just today, that's exactly what UK did. They're not even trying to hide it. I mean, the Prime Minister of the UK is the same guy who also tried to make his case in the Oval Office that England respects free speech and has robust free speech.
Really?
But yet they're the ones jailing people for racist online comments.
They will come and get you over there and lock you up for a meme, okay? And our country is going in the same direction. Thank God for Donald Trump to end that, that censorship and stuff, because our country was following in the same direction of Europe, of NATO and the European Union and all the shit they're doing, because they are globalists. I don't understand how y'all can't see that these people have a globalist agenda. They're worried about everybody on earth except for Americans. I want a president that's a nationalist, and that's what I voted for, and that's what I got.
And offensive online comments. Just the pure dishonesty from liberal politicians at this point is frankly sickening and tiresome. The liberal media loves to try to portray Trump as some compulsive liar, but never wants to mention the profound and blatant lies told by their side of the aisle. Now back to Zelensky. Instead of trying to prove to
We're gonna put so much good information in this. Y'all have to watch this all the way through. And I'm telling you, everything I put on here, I always put it in the description on my YouTube channel so you can watch it in full. And once you watch one video, more will come up like it. Just go down a rabbit hole and really look at what's going on. Ask God for discernment. Okay, so you can know the difference between bullshit and the truth.
Trump through his actions, because his words are meaningless, that he actually wants peace. He instantly goes and gets some money from England to continue funding the meat grinder, which is fine, I guess. Let it be Europe's problem. But don't come over to America and try to lecture us on the aggression of Russia as if we haven't known about that for 70 years. And also hold your hand out and demand that we give you endless, no strings attached money, while also demanding that you uniquely will decide when you want peace and under what terms. So not only was Donald Trump exactly right about Zelensky, but so was JD Vance. Videos have been circulating all around Twitter.
Honestly, I like that they tag teamed on his ass and they were in unison, not like Kamala Harris and Biden. Kamala turned on him in the end. You understand? So I feel like they was a tag team. You're in my house, and this is how it's going to go. I feel like we're so used to wimpy men, and Zelensky is just used to coming over here and dictating and saying what he wants, and they were just giving it to him because they're gonna make money off the prison industrial complex. Period. Somebody's getting that money that we're sending to Ukraine to make weapons and to make uniforms and to make. You see what I'm saying? So it has to continue on.
How the Ukrainian army is literally taking men off of the street, dragging them and throwing them in vans.
And let me tell you something. If we get into World War III, you don't think that the United States won't draft your kids or draft your ass over there to fight? Because once they run out of men, they have to draft. They have to draft you. And they talking about they would never do a draft again. Yes, they would. Yes, they would. And I'm telling you, our soldiers are going to end up in Ukraine, if they don't get it together. I feel like Trump should pull out of NATO.
Recruit them for this losing war. Take a look.
This shit. Now, this is what your tax dollars are going to support. If we keep funding this war, they don't have anybody to fight the shit. This is what they're doing to their people. This is what Zelensky's doing over there.
What is this, Kim?
Look, beating up people, taking them out the house. Forcing people to go through the meat grinder of this war. Everybody knows this war is lost, and they're forcing people to go over into this war. This is what y'all not seeing. This is what the mainstream media is not going to show y'all. This shit make me want to freaking cry because it's a disgrace. Somebody's on here. We wouldn't have to send aid to Ukraine if Russia hadn't decided to invade their country. Okay, but why did Russia invade their country? That's NATO bullshit. Okay, that's the Europeans that's always out there trying to pillage. Look what they did in Africa. Look what they did in Brazil. Look what they all over South America. Look, all they do is go into a country and try to pillage it, try to war with them, and try to steal their resources. That's what they do. T. Don't come on here with that bullshit because you guys are ignorant. You want your money to go to people being dragged out of their houses to fight a war that's never going to end. Meanwhile, people are becoming billionaires off of our tax dollars to the military and industrial complex. Don't you come on here with that bullshit, baby. I'm telling you right now. I don't want to hear it. What else are you trying to say? No, it seems very sissy if the out on bail felon. Okay, we don't care about no felon. He's already president. Just shut up. He's already president. Look at this, T. You want your money to go to this? This is what, when you pay for a war, this is what's going to happen.
Ну,
With your
это
money.
просто пипец.
Shut your ass up. Then mainstream media not going to show you that part.
So Ukraine is literally dragging men off the street because they are running out of
T, if you think what's happening is right, take your ass over to Ukraine and fight for that war. Put your money over there and fight for it. Put your whole life savings over there and then take your ass over there and fight the war for them. Why on earth, when we know how Europeans have rolled throughout history of pillaging nations everywhere on earth, causing wars and collapsing countries everywhere on earth, the United States and Europe, why on earth would we side with these people? I'm telling you, if Trump pulls out of NATO, that's some gangster shit. Because right there, I would ride with him to the end of eternity. Because those NATO, that's all they do is go in countries and try to collapse them. And they get on the news and make it seem like they're doing something righteous and that the people that they're pillaging and destroying are the bad guys. Y'all better come off my channel with that bullshit. Because that's not even going to play here.
Soldiers to fight this war. And why that's even more important to these negotiations is because a senior Ukrainian official actually came out and said it's starting not to matter how much equipment and weaponry is being sent to us. We simply don't have the manpower to even use it.
There you go. What is our money going to go for? Zelensky wants to keep fighting. He didn't even hold elections. You talk about a dictator and a criminal. That's him. Y'all exalting this person. Meanwhile, he's dragging his people out the house and forcing them to go to wars. People hiding out and paying money to say they're disabled and shit. They're not fighting this war. The people don't want it. That's what I'm telling you. These politicians here and in Europe, they don't listen because they're globalists. They don't care. They're taking our money to fuel a globalist agenda. They're not listening to what the people want. Nobody wants this war. They want it because they're going to make money off of it, and hopefully they can collapse Russia and take all their resources like they do everywhere on earth, like they've done since they came from wherever they came from to the planet. You understand? That's all they do is go around different countries, pillage, steal everything, collapse societies. They're taking our money and collapsing societies. We don't need to give them no money. I would love if Trump would pull out of NATO.
Which is why Trump told him he's gambling with World War III, because if he wants to continue this war, it's eventually going to require other countries to put boots on the ground.
There you go. If they keep going with this war, they already done killed off a whole generation of their people. Now they asking for older people to go and women, every damn body, pulling people out of nightclubs and dragging them off the fight. They don't even get to tell their family they leaving and shit like that. That's what's going on over there that the mainstream media is not telling y'all. So don't come on here with that bullshit, okay? If he can end this war and he can get out of NATO and not be a part of this pillaging and side with the whole rest of the world against these people, I would be glad.
Fight with the Ukrainians, which is going to prompt Russia to start using its big boy weapons, which will prompt us to use our big boy weapons. And
to me, the United States should pull out of NATO. That's their problem. Let them figure out on their own how they're going to pillage the world and let the rest of the world join together against them, because that's what's happening.
Next thing you know, China, North Korea, and every other crazy ass country is going to hop in on Russia's side. And boom, there you have it. Global.
I don't even think they're crazy ass countries. They just know what Europeans do, and they just know what they've tried to do to them. And they try to, that's why some nations really block Western influence from their culture, because it's terrible. You know, sometimes I feel like they go a little hard, but that's how threatened they feel by Europeans. You understand? So you have to really question why the whole entire world is banding together against the NATO, and there are 30 European countries and 2 American. Europe is so small. Okay. Are you kidding? Y'all want to side with Europe? Please stop playing with me.
Thermonuclear war. And this fact is
Please.
so obvious that Jake Tapper actually posted on Twitter last night
Listen, I don't know who you are, Ella Thelma. You don't know me from anything. She says you don't get it, lady. You are so uninformed. I'm not uninformed at all. You're uninformed because I guarantee you don't listen to propaganda news. That's why you're on here telling me some bullshit. I'm telling you, we don't need to be a part of NATO. We don't. We know, if you don't know what Europeans' history is on this planet, I don't know what to tell you. You're misinformed because that's all they have done is go from nation to nation, rob and pillage and collapse. Rob, pillage, collapse. That's what they do. That's what they've done for eons. Okay. And the fact that Trump said he will pull out of NATO, that spoke volumes to me. Because we don't need to be a part of them. I would be glad to see the Europeans be on their own and fight all of these wars and try to pillage nations all over on their own without our money and let us go about our day. Okay. What's her Shahana, I think. I agree we should start giving money, but don't exclude the US from the same actions you detailed about Europe. They are all shit when it comes to pillaging. I agree, but we have a president now that knows that and wants to separate himself from that. So I don't see that as a bad thing. If we come out of NATO, they will be on their own, because to me it seems like what Trump is trying to do is side with the rest of the world against NATO, against the Europeans that have been pillaging the world all along. Now, I feel like there's safety in numbers. If all of these countries in the world can come together against one, the Bible says this, as much as y'all don't want to listen, the Bible says this. The whole world will come against one demonic entity. What is happening right now? If you look at the history and look at Europe and all they've done and the murders, they killed billions of people in Africa and stole all the resources. They went in every country. There's hardly anywhere on earth that's not colonized by Europeans. Y'all better stop playing with me and you better look and pay attention. Sikander says Europe has a history that is soaked in blood. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. There's not one place on this earth that they haven't gone over there and tried to do that shit. And some nations, resisted and fought back against them. And this is what is happening right now. But y'all don't understand that.
Donald Trump is actually right in these negotiations. His post reads, one pro-Ukraine expert, normally supportive of Zelensky, cautions that today's showdown should be seen in a clear-eyed way. Ukraine is losing this war, the expert says. Russia is making tens of thousands of drones per month, and Ukraine can't shoot them all down.
They said Russia's technology is off the hook, and then they got North Korea on their side. They got China. And who, like I'm saying, the whole damn world. Iran, they said Iran's drones is off the hook. We do not stand a chance against the rest of the world going against Europe and America and Canada. It's not happening. It's not happening. And I kind of like that the whole world is banding together against one. Maybe you would have world peace. You know what I'm saying? I think the Europeans need to stop playing. They need to stop playing, and they all need to sit down and work out their issues and try to have peace. I don't see what's the problem. What is this person saying on here? You don't know what you are talking about. I'm 75 years old. There we go. He's 75 years old and he's living decades in the past, and he has lived through life and know Putin. Okay, but why does Putin react this way to Europe? That is the question I'm asking you, 75-year-old man. What is the reason why the whole rest of the world doesn't like Europe? You're so old, but you don't know the history of Europeans and Africans, Europeans and South Americans, Europeans and Middle Easterners. Come on, sir. Go away, sir. I'm telling you. He says America stands for freedom and civil rights. No, it doesn't. Anybody that ever got their rights in America had to fight for those rights. He says Russian people don't have either. How do you know what they have? The Russian people are doing just fine minding their business. It's the Europeans over there harassing them, trying to cause conflict in their nation to get their resources like they've done everywhere. I feel like Russia is one of the last nations left that hasn't kept them out of there. You understand? So Russia supports Africa and decolonization. Sir, go take some Geritol or something and come out of here, because I don't even want to hear what you have to say.
Russia is making advances because Russia doesn't value human life and is okay to lose thousands of men a day. Ukraine can't keep up with that and shouldn't. It continues their.
Why would anybody in their right mind want to support a war? People are dying. If you're a damn fool if you're not going to be on the side of righteousness and say, okay, these people want to stop the war. Let's see what we can do to try to make that happen. Okay. Zelensky's already now begging for Trump to hear him again now. And Trump is like, no, fuck out of here. And I don't blame him. You understand? You're not going to come on TV here and come to my house and act crazy to me and then going to try to come and ask me for the favor again. You should have did that when you were there. You understand? So I don't know how this is going to end, but I would love it if he would come out of the European Union. That would speak out of NATO, because that would speak so many volumes to what he really, the intentions he has for the rest of the world. You understand? Because it's Europe always. It's always the Europeans that pillage and murder and kill and do. And as long as the United States was aligned with NATO, they were a part of it and doing it too. That's why everybody hates the United States and Europe. I'm telling you. And to separate ourselves from that, I feel like we would just have a more peaceful existence with the rest of the world. I really don't think the rest of the world is going, we're not going to have a problem. It's Europe that's causing the problem. Y'all have to really look at this historically and look at how they move.
There needs to be an end to this war, and there are only 3 ways out. 1, America can send military weapons and manpower, potentially starting World War III. 2, Ukraine can surrender and give in to Putin. Or 3, we give this ceasefire plan and deal that Trump is pushing a chance. I would go for option 3. Trump was talking about Ukraine getting land back that it had lost.
And one thing Trump can say, they say that Russia attacked them when it was Obama. They attacked them when it was Biden and another time, but they didn't attack when he was in office, because he has relationships with all of these countries. And I don't care what y'all say about his failed businesses, whatever the case may be. He's done huge transactions. You can't come and build a hotel or some big, massive construction deal in a country without dealing with their government. He has relationships with these people. That's the reason why I feel like he's good for foreign policy. I really do. You guys hating him and you don't know why, except for that the media tells you he's bad. But when you really think for yourself and do the research and look, you realize that no, actually, I feel like he will be great for foreign policy. We didn't have no wars while he was there.
Just yesterday, Zelensky knew the position of the Trump administration ahead of time. Perhaps this meeting was a trap, but it's one Zelensky could have easily avoided. And this reality is why Donald Trump was so upset that a reporter yesterday in the White House asked, well, what if Russia breaks the peace talks?
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
Like these guys are trying to play whataboutism, and Trump saying, well, let's deal with that if and when it happens.
Exactly.
You're not willing to end bloodshed today.
And Putin says he wants to make a deal. I feel like the Russians are minding their business, and the Europeans are always over there to try to start a war and try to pillage them for something they must want from them over there. Just leave them alone. Look where they're at. Leave them alone. You understand? But they won't leave him alone. And he's not afraid. A lot of the nations got pillaged and got, collapsed and taken over by Europeans. Look at Africa, what they did. Now Africa is decolonizing, and they're doing great without them over there. You understand? So maybe the rest of the world needs to get away from these people. I'm sorry.
Because bloodshed might happen in the future. And when you look at history, it would show that Trump.
Sikander says that is true. America should separate from Europe and make its own decision. I agree. If Europe wants to have these wars all over the place and be globalists and try to collapse societies, let them do that on their own, and let us mind our business and try to live peacefully and get money with other nations all over the world. How about that?
is the ultimate security guarantee. Russia took Georgia under Bush. They took Crimea under Obama. They invaded Ukraine under Biden. But somehow Trump, buddy, puppet of Putin, Russians didn't invade anything. So you get the Trump guarantee of safety. And that's also why he's trying to do this mineral deal. So there is an American presence and economic interest in Ukraine going forward. So if one of these weak Democrats ever becomes president again in the future, Russia will still think twice about invading and putting American contractors and or citizens in harm's way. Now, while all the European leaders have been doing their virtue signaling and pandering to social media, the NATO Secretary General, who clearly understands the gravity of this situation, implored Zelensky to fix this because he knows the United States is vital. The article reads, NATO
United States puts more money into NATO than the Europeans are putting, but it's their problem. You understand? This shit don't have nothing to do with us. It's Europe, for whatever reason, they feel that Russia is a threat to them and they want to destroy Russia and get up in there and shit. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't have anything to do with America. You understand? So why are we getting involved with this? And Trump said if NATO doesn't pay their fair share of the money, that we're coming out of it. I hope he takes us out of it. I pray so hard.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte called on March 1st for Vladimir Zelensky to mend relationships with U.S. President Donald Trump following a tense exchange in the White House a day prior. Speaking to the BBC, Rutte said that it was important that President Zelensky find a way to restore his relationship with the American president and with the senior American leadership team. Rutte, who said he had spoken to Zelensky twice since the incident, called the public argument unfortunate. The Secretary General added that we really have to give Trump credit for providing weapons to Ukraine during Trump's first term in office, adding that the U.S. commands respect for their support. So he at least understands that despite the posturing from the European countries, they aren't going to be able to
I know that's right, because Davito is saying that all this is just an extension of European colonialism 2.0 coming to an end. That is right. It's the end of an era for globalists and globalism, because these people, the Europeans, they always wanted a one world government. That's why they went and pillaged Africa and killed everybody. That's why they came to America to kill off everybody and take over. Everywhere they go, they want to kill. And certain countries is like, you're not coming here with that bullshit. We're going to defend ourselves. But then the media will come back and tell us, oh, they're the devil. Oh, they're this. Look what they did in Africa to Gaddafi. He was trying to liberate his people, but they made us think he's the enemy. Anybody that the mainstream media tells us is the enemy, it's probably the hero. Just always remember that. Just always remember that. That's how much they lie.
On this thing, they can't convince Russia to engage in peace talks. And one of the great things to come out of the heated meeting yesterday, in my opinion, is now Europe is forced to fund this war if they want it to continue. Yep. They are forced to see a future in which they have to increase their military spending substantially.
Yeah,
both
let
for
them
NATO.
Pay for it. You want to collapse Russia. You want to support Ukraine in fighting with Russia, and then you pay for it and go for yours. Meanwhile, America, we're going to go with the rest of the world and get this money. How about that?
And for their own countries. And that's going to make these European citizens who are always so critical of America realize that their robust welfare state, free this, free that, long paid vacations and maternity leaves are all a result of them spending absolutely zilch on defense. Yep. Now these nations are actually going to have to be self-sufficient. And let's see how these citizens enjoy operating like
Not
a real...
for nothing. America puts a lot of money into other nations' bullshit. That's because our government is globalist controlled government. Okay. They want to rule the world and have one government for the whole world. Okay. There's nations that are left that don't want to be a part of that and they want to stand on their own. That's why places like North Korea just came off the map of like, we don't want to fuck with y'all at all. And like, they have a lot of, censors for their people from the West. You understand? Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this anymore. People have woken up to this agenda and nobody wants it. Even in America, they don't want it. You understand? And you guys are not getting it. You're not listening. You're not getting it.
Country. Instead of living in their socialist utopia, courtesy of the American taxpayer
There you go.
via our military guarantees. Now, here's Marco Rubio slamming Zelensky.
Word,
for-
because we protect Canada. Now we protecting Ukraine, Europe, everybody. Fuck all these people. If they want to fight and do everything, let them go. We shouldn't give none of these people any money. We should work with the countries that's not warring, that are peaceful places, and spend our money with them and build with those countries. The rest of them, kick them out. Come out of NATO.
for wasting everybody's time coming into the White House under the presupposition that you were there to talk peace, only for him to pull that disrespectful stunt in front of the American media.
President Trump said just when he was leaving the White House after that meeting that he doesn't think President Zelensky wants peace. But isn't that why the Ukrainian leader was in the Oval Office for that meeting today?
Hell yeah, that's why he was there. And then when he got in front of the camera, he said something else. That's what happened, but they're not telling you that part.
Well, he was in the Oval Office to sign a minerals rights deal. That's what he was in the Oval Office to sign today. But again, when you have comments that deliberately appear to be after having discussed this repeatedly, deliberately appear to be geared towards making the argument that peace is not possible. Again, he turns to the vice president. What kind of diplomacy are you talking about? Almost as if to say, these people, you can't deal with them.
Like, he didn't talk about this shit for 10 days before they got in that press room. He's full of shit.
Any negotiations with Putin because he can't be trusted and you're just wasting your time on negotiations. Well, he's directly basically undermining everything the president has told him he's trying to do. Look, there's no need for that. You start to suspect, does he really want an end to this war? Does he just think that, we have to do whatever he says and give him anything he wants without any end game? That was the Biden strategy. We were funding a stalemate. We were funding a meat grinder. And unfortunately, for the Ukrainians, the Russians have more meat to grind, and they don't care about human life. We've seen it, human waves, the North Koreans, etc. And so this is a very complex thing. It's very delicate. It's very costly. It's very bloody. It needs to be brought to an end, but it isn't going to be brought to an end with public pronouncements and maximalist demands in the public, but in real diplomacy. The vice president was right.
Zelensky seems to not understand that the fact that they made it this long is courtesy of us being on their side all this time. His soldiers fought bravely and valiantly against a much larger country. Kudos to them. But this war is going nowhere. It's at a stalemate, and Russia is only building up its arms by the day. So instead of being...
There's no way Ukraine could go against Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China. It's a wrap. And even if America gets involved in this war, it's a wrap for us too. Let it go. Let Europe be the problem. You know what I mean? That's their problem. They want that shit. Let the Europeans figure out how they're going to get through this. I don't think we should have nothing to do with this anymore.
Thrilled that only 5% of your country got taken over instead of all of it. Zelensky would rather keep this war going, trying to reclaim the...
As long as the war keeps going, he keeps staying president, he can keep going all over the world and getting money. Y'all should see how opulent he be living over there, and him and his wife, So they didn't even have elections. You're talking about dictatorship. He'll stay in office as long as this war goes on. So that's probably why he doesn't want to end it either.
5% and then Crimea while risking losing the other 95% of his country. And what I think is that he's been siphoning billions and billions off, probably sitting in some Swiss bank account. And if things get really bad, he'll just flee the country, live the rest of his life as a billionaire, get a book deal for being the guy who fought Russia for 3 years, and move on with his life. Or he's just really interested in causing World War III. I can't tell which one it is, but it's one of the two. Now, again, instead of applauding Donald Trump for trying to pursue world peace, Democrats have officially turned into the warmongerer party, advocating for endless war and countless lives to be lost. But their newest argument is so shocking that any conservative or any liberal who's not Trump deranged will be in complete disbelief. So I saw this tweet from a guy advocating for the war to continue by saying somewhere between 70 to 90% of the support we've provided Ukraine since Russia's illegal invasion was spent in the US as American defense workers built or replaced weapons we sent over. All those jobs are about to disappear, and most of them are skilled blue-collar positions. The face-eating leopard is so hungry. So to summarize, the Democrats are saying we should keep this war going to fuel the military-industrial complex. If this doesn't illustrate how far gone the party that was protesting the Vietnam War because...
They want you to keep it going because they're all getting rich from it. Who do you think is getting the money? When you give the money to Ukraine, they're going to pay it right back to the military industrial complex, to whoever's making the missiles, who's ever making this, that, and the third, whatever they need to use. And it's a scam. It's a scam. But the sad part is that people will die from it. People are dying crazy over there. And they say in Ukraine, they lost a whole generation of men, a whole entire generation. Now they're trying to get people to register earlier, and they're taking older men and taking people off the streets and all this stuff. They wilding over there. It's over for them, and they need to stop.
Because it was an endless war, because we were spending money, because soldiers were dying with no prospect of winning this war, are now encouraging a bloodbath in Europe to continue. Also, jobs in the defense industry can be.
And the funny thing is that if Russia wanted to obliterate Europe, it's so small, he could have did that, but he's not doing it. So you guys have to really look at this. You understand? I just feel like all of these nations are just defending themselves from, colonizers and globalists.
Protected. I don't know what Democrats stand for anymore. The only thing I do know is that they are truly anti-American. All I've seen from them since Donald Trump got elected was pro-government waste and fraud, pro-illegal immigrants, pro-Canada, pro-Mexico, pro-Ukraine, pro-Gaza, pro-European Union, censoring online speech. And that's why the vastly different reactions to the meeting that occurred yesterday at the White House is so shocking to many people, including myself, because the two parties are distinguishing themselves.
Somebody in the comments, Devatow, I think. The U.S. make money off funding wars. This helps keep European supremacy in internal affairs in other countries' business, so they can export more resources for cheap. Yeah, it is true. It's like they go in and collapse a nation, and then they pillage all their shit. You understand? Then they get all their stuff for next to nothing because they put these countries in debt. That's almost kind of like what Trump is doing to Ukraine in a way. It's like, okay, you want this money, we'll give it to you, but we want this in return. You understand? But Zelensky's so used to them just throwing him money. He had an attitude because they didn't want to just throw him money without any terms to get it back.
As one side that wants peace and one side that wants endless war. And it's looking really, really bad for the Democrats.
Yes,
but let me know what you guys think down.
And I keep telling y'all, you're going to be on the wrong side of history. I keep telling y'all, I told y'all with COVID, you're going to be on the wrong side of history. And I'm telling you with this now, you're going to be on the wrong side of history, because I don't see anything bad with what these people are doing so far. I feel like they've kept all their promises, and I don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. So let's move on. We're going to watch all these videos today because I want y'all to see this shit here, because this is ridiculous what they're doing. Let me see. I just want to make sure I got the right video. Here, let's watch this one next, because y'all not getting it. Hold on, I'm sharing the screen first. Let me see, which one is this? Okay, this one. Okay, y'all. Whoops, sorry. There's so much shit popped up on here. It's hard to navigate. All right, you guys. This one is good. This is Lou Valentino. I like his show too. All of these are in the description so you can see other voices. This is I think he's Puerto Rican dude from the Bronx. YouTube deplatformed him for things that he was sharing about the vaccines and different things like that. So and then the people supported him off of the internet, and it was great. Like, he started getting like, what do you call it? Investors to his channel and stuff like that. And he was able to keep going, but it was messed up what they did to him. But he has these people that I'm showing you, they all have huge followings. So you're on the wrong side of history. The Democratic day of rule is over. It is. Just look at this.
As Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
What about opinions of the Ukrainian president?
Right. Obviously, if you would expect changes amongst the public on feelings towards Ukraine, feelings towards Zelensky have changed also.
Look at this. Now, this is CNN. Now, y'all trust CNN for some reason. So that's the only reason why I'm going to show you this, because even CNN has to report that American people are tired of this bullshit with Ukraine. They're just over it. We don't support Zelensky, but for some reason, as Democrats always do, they don't listen to what the American people are asking for, and they just do what they want to do.
Dramatically, look at this. Confident Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Back in 2022, it was the clear majority, 72% through the floor. By 2024, just 48% of Americans say that they're confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. And GOP confidence has also plummeted dramatically. Now the clear majority of Republicans are not confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs.
It looks like Zelensky wants us to accept this apology. He just posted.
Now look at this. After he was talking all that shit in the White House, then went on Fox News and talked more shit. Now he's realizing that maybe I played myself, because the American people are not riding with me no more. I can't come to America like I used to and demand money. It's a different administration now. Let me chill. Now watch this
video begging for mercy. Should Trump accept that and give him mercy after what he did in the Oval Office? The epic meltdown literally woke up many Americans to see right through this war in Ukraine with Russia. And now here's the video. And by the way, I have a video to show you guys about the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, exposing this guy for who he really is. But again, here he is begging us for mercy. Should we forgive this guy? Take a listen to how he switches his tune and is now.
I guess your mainstream media ain't showing you this video.
Take a look.
I'm
grateful to President Trump for his sincere interest in our common opportunities, in how we can bring real peace together. It was a long conversation. We discussed many nuances, diplomatic, military, economic, and President Trump informed me of what Putin had told him. We believe that America's strength is enough to push Russia and Putin to peace together with us.
Now look what he coming back saying. Trump said, I will be the reassurance that he don't attack you. You understand what I'm saying? Now he want to ride with it. You understand? But he came out and told the media something else. But now when he's thinking about it, now he's like, oh, let me take this deal. You understand? That's why I say y'all need to go read Trump's book, Art of the Deal, because I don't care what nobody say. The man is built for this. He's good at deal making. I thought it was an excellent book, and I feel like he is a good deal maker. Look,
with all our partners.
Oh, now
let's listen again.
Switches his tune and is now saying this. Take a look.
I'm
grateful to President Trump for his sincere interest in our common opportunities, in how we can bring real peace together. It was a long conversation. We discussed many nuances, diplomatic, military, economic, and President Trump informed me of what Putin had told him. We believe that America's strength is enough to push Russia and Putin to peace together with us, together with all our partners.
Oh, now?
Oh.
Now this guy wants to talk like this.
Yeah.
But when he was in the Oval Office in front of the world, he thought he had cards, just like
because he thought that he could get on TV and get the support of the American people. But American people was like, fuck you and that war, and we don't want to pay for it. And, we don't want to give you shit, really. You know what I'm saying? And I think it backfired for him. I don't think he thought that. He was just used to coming here, and he thought that he had the support of the American people like they did before. Everybody had their Ukraine flag, and I'm with Ukraine and this and that. But this time around, the people have changed their minds drastically. So he doesn't even have the support of the people. He better take that little bit of money, even though it's not a little bit of money, but he better take that money and make that deal for those minerals and go about and build his country and live in peace. That's what he needs to do.
Like Trump said. But here is the Director of National Intelligence exposing this guy for who he really is, and why we shouldn't trust him, and why we shouldn't forgive him, and why we shouldn't even allow this guy back into the country until he is ready to accept our terms. Remember, This guy just finished running around. After he left the Oval Office, he wanted to go meet again with Trump, but Trump said no. So he went to Canada and he went to the European Union.
After he got kicked out the White House and he did his little stunt for the TV cameras and then Trump threw him out. Then he going to try to call him back to try to come back and make the deal. And Trump was like, no, I ain't mad. If somebody came to my house and did that to me and was asking me for money at my house and act like that, I think I would have been the same way. You know what I mean? But I feel like he'll make the deal. I feel like if he comes and wants to make a peace deal, he'll make it.
AKA the UK, and doesn't seem that that's going to probably do it. So again, do we have a choice? Does he have a choice?
Here is something that the political establishment and propaganda media don't want you to know. Ukraine's President Zelensky has just banned yet another political opposition party, one that questioned his legitimacy as president, and used Ukraine's Department of Justice to mandate the seizure of this party's members' assets. Now, this is just the latest of Zelensky's actions to do this sort of thing. He began banning major political opposition parties in 2022, when he also started
y'all want to talk about
TV
dictator?
channels
Look at
that were
him.
associated with his political opponents. And he took over total control of Ukraine's largest television networks, now controlled by their government. Now, Zelensky's presidential term ended on May 20th. He canceled elections in the name of martial law, suspending Ukraine's constitution so that he could stay in power.
But now it's trench warfare, and they're dug in like World War I. And the Ukrainians don't have the bodies to throw into the front lines like the Russians do. That's why Zelensky wants to end it. The Europeans want to end it. We want to end it. And Russia does too. That's why they're at the table.
See, the Europeans thought they could punk Putin, okay? And it couldn't do it. And he, you know, his attitude was like, I'll blow the whole entire world up if you keep fucking playing with me. You understand? Europe doesn't have a leg to stand on. And if Donald Trump pulls America out of NATO, they are freaking screwed because we pay for most of it.
A proxy war that goes nowhere. Is that in America's best interests? No. Zelensky didn't read the room. He didn't even say thank you.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October.
I see why they're mad, because the mainstream media is not going to show you the whole 10 days ahead that they've been talking about this and making the deal. You understand? They were supposed to come and sign this deal on camera, and he gets on camera and tries to be cute. You understand? And so they was tight. Who wouldn't be? And I feel like they, you know, composed their stuff rather well. Because if I was giving somebody $3 billion or however many much, and they come to my house with some bullshit, I would have been way more mad than that.
Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save.
Yeah, because NATO and Europeans are not trying to end the war. We pay more money than NATO paid, than the Europeans paid. You understand? That little bit of money that he got from them, he knows it's not enough to do shit. He knows he needs to just end this war. That's why he's coming back talking about, you know, let me get that last little bit of money, you know.
Your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this.
Don't tell the vice president he's speaking too loudly. He can speak however he wants to.
I know. That's like somebody coming to your house. I had one of my relatives come to my house and told me I was making too much noise in the morning. I swear to God, I went off. You don't tell me what noise to make and what to say in my house. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. I feel like they acted really good because my reaction was 100 times worse than what his was.
White House. Have you ever seen a foreign leader come into America and talk this way? And everyone knows if Zelensky had come in, signed the deal, showed some gratitude, it would have gone a long way. And
I'm going to show you a video during the Biden administration when he came over here and was kind of threatening Americans that they had to like help them, or we were going to, you know, our kids were going to end up fighting for Ukraine and shit like that. And that just turned me off when I saw that. And I don't know if the mainstream media showed that video or not, but I just feel like Americans should just, I don't know, he's repulsive to me. Just everything about him.
And it would have reminded the American people that Zelensky is a victim. We could have sympathized with him, and we do. His country's been under attack.
I sympathize with the people there of what they're being put through by him. That's why I want to see it end. But him, they need to lock him up somewhere.
Save Zelensky's life. We saved his country. And it was an honor to save his country. And if you want to have an attitude because war is hell and you're fighting for your survival, I get that. But do it in private. What do you think was going to happen if you're going to do this in front of the press? You think Trump's going to let it fly?
Mm-hmm.
So if you weren't ready.
Well, he was getting away with all kinds of shit like that before, and he just didn't realize that a new administration came in there that's about that life.
To sign the deal, why'd you fly here? And if you didn't like the language,
because he thought he had the cards. He thought this was the previous administration.
Exactly.
Again, he and many other Republicans, the rhinos and Democrats, literally have been pushing this guy to think that he is some type of, I don't know, he's some type of hero in this movie, and that they need to fight to the last soldier. And no, we are the taxpayers. He thought he had a choice.
Language of the mineral deal, have your team hash it out with us. Push the trip back a week and then fly over. Don't fly here saying you're going to sign on the dotted line and then argue about what's not in the deal on TV.
Yep, exactly.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful.
Listen to him. Look at Trump's face when he said that they were alone. People say they've been alone.
Said thanks.
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you through this stupid president 350.
Did he just say they have been alone? Here's
I'm telling you,
Trump
he was
was
wilding.
this
I'm
whole
telling
time.
you, he was wilding.
Cabinet.
You haven't been alone.
In this cabinet.
We gave you through
I
this
said
stupid president $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military.
And then look what Zelensky's saying. Well, you voted for your president. You understand? Okay, well, that president is not in office anymore, bro.
Equipment. And you men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over.
And look, he's trying to say you invited me to speak. No, sir, we invited you to sign this deal. You were just supposed to come and sign this deal, not get up here and try to renegotiate and try to change everything in front of the cameras. You understand? You agreed to it. They have been working on this for 10 days, is for what I heard.
In 2 weeks.
Zelensky was already on thin ice. And now he's going toe-to-toe with Trump like this is some kind of debate. We're not here to debate. You can debate behind the scenes. You can debate at lunch. But if you debate in the open like this, you're going to lose because Ukraine has no leverage. The minerals were their only leverage. And without those, you're not getting a peace deal. At a certain point, it didn't even look like Zelensky wanted peace.
You tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
There wasn't
It doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what.
His people are like, are you freaking kidding me? You're dragging me out of my house to go fight this war? Are you kidding me? They lost a whole generation. Now they're just dragging people off the street to go and fight. The people there don't want it neither.
That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins.
Now, we all know how much we can't stand an ungrateful motherfucker. You understand? We've all been there before. So don't act like y'all don't know how President Trump feels.
Javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful.
Zelensky wants guarantees. I would too. But Russia invaded under Bush, under Obama, under Biden. Putin never invaded under Trump. And Trump saying, I'm the guarantee. And if we have Americans in Ukraine excavating minerals, that's a double guarantee.
What's so crazy
and
about
that makes sense too, because if you have our people over there, we're going to send people to protect them at least.
this, guys, is the fact that many Americans don't see it that way. Many Americans showed up in Times Square. They showed up in Vermont to protest the vice president, J.D. Vance.
I just feel like there's always going to be people that's going to protest this president because they're just conditioned and propagandized and just like be over the head not to like him. So no matter what he does, they're going to find fault in it. So it's like, who cares about those people? Because they're the minority of people in this country now. So we don't care about them. They're going to just fizzle and die out over time.
With Ukrainian flags, basically saying that we are traitors. But it's so crazy to me how people don't understand this warfare, this kind of mental warfare that Trump is playing with Putin. You see, Trump has Putin under control. People think that Putin is controlling him. But Putin is a very strong man. In order to run Russia, you have to be strong and smart. And when you don't give credit to the opposition, then how do you expect to understand?
Because honestly, I think Trump is right. The issues that Putin has with Europe don't have nothing to do with us, and that's why he wants to come out of NATO. All of the shit that they're doing doesn't have nothing to do with us. How are we going to be traitors for not wanting to support Ukraine and Europe? That ain't our country. You know what I'm saying? Just like one of the African presidents was like, why are you mad that America don't want to pay money to, a foreign nation? You're not their country. You're not their people. They don't have to pay you shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand the people of this country sometimes. They're just crazy.
Stand opposition. If you don't even bring them to the table to have a conversation. Why do you think people have press conferences when they fight or when they're about to fight? They're about to go to the ring. They're about to go to war, but they have a press conference and an understanding of what this war really means. I don't know. To me, it seems like this guy is just full of it. And now he's apologizing.
He apologized.
Now he's apologizing. We need America. But you just went around and literally paraded.
He know he got to kiss his ass now because he made you a good deal. He went around and nobody's giving him hardly any money. And he's realizing that, well, maybe I should just take this money and try to rebuild or whatever. But he's full of crap. And American people are right. 48% of however much they said they don't trust them. So there we go. It's like every day more and more America gets more and more aligned with the truth and reality of our situation in this country. And I'm glad. I can't say enough times that I wish that he would come out of NATO.
Yourself. He went over, guys. He literally went over to every other country. He went to every other country, and now he's realizing that he needs America more than ever. He needs Trump more than ever. But here is big bad breaking news for Zelensky, where now the U.S. support for Ukraine it's not cutting it.
And the one thing I could say is that these Republicans in office now, if the people say they don't want it, they're going to do what the people say. I'm telling you, he knows what the people want. And he knows that people want this war to end. And he's either going to do that or he's just going to leave European, NATO and Ukraine on their own out there.
Don't let the mainstream media fool you. Here's CNN keeping it real finally about the action.
A lot of these mainstream newses are keeping it real because they getting sued. That's why. And their ratings are falling drastically because people are waking up. So they're going to have to tell you the truth or they're going to lose all their money.
Support. It's going down for Ukraine. Take a look.
Holy Toledo. Look at this trend line here. U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. Back when the war began back in February of 2022, it was just 7%. Up like a rocket ship. My goodness. Up now in February of 2025 to 41%. And the clear majority of Republicans, and of course, Republicans are in charge of the U.S. government now, 62% of Republicans say that the U.S. support for Ukraine is.
This is the part that you're not getting, that Republicans are the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It is a wrap for globalists and Democrats. Y'all can protest all you want. You could try to go to court all you want. It's over. It's over. And I don't see Democrat ever getting back in office because they have no credibility. And it's the end of an era. And you just need to move on and figure out how you're going to live moving forward. It's over. Come out of the past, move into the present. The present is the only reality for you, and move on.
Too much. What a difference from just 3 years ago. I can remember, John, all those backyards in the United States with those Ukrainian flags. Far fewer of them today, as Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
What about opinions of the Ukrainian president?
Right. Obviously, if you would expect changes amongst the public on feelings towards Ukraine.
And it's just going to get less and less since he ain't take this deal. And if he don't take this deal, it's going to get less and less. And the more that they keep fighting this war and losing more people over in Ukraine, it's going to get less and less and less. Because there's a lot of people that live here that wish that war were in. And I'm sure they've been affected directly by it, even though being that they're over here, whether it be their relatives was lost in the war or whatever. It needs to end. They got nothing out of doing this. This was nothing. They got nothing out of doing this. The only people that benefited from this was the military industrial complex and anybody that got a kickback off the money. The rest, nobody else benefited.
Feelings towards Zelensky have changed also dramatically. Look at this. Confident Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Back in 2022, it was the clear majority, 72% through the floor. Through the floor by 2024, just 48% of Americans say that they're confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. And GOP confidence has also plummeted dramatically. Now the clear majority of Republicans are not confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs.
Oh my. Americans are not confident in Zelensky. Could you believe that? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. They don't believe in this.
That coming from CNN is very profound because y'all don't trust nothing that's said to you unless it comes from propaganda media. And propaganda media is even telling you it's a wrap for him.
This guy anymore. And that again, you have big protests. You have a lot of Americans, a lot of loud Americans right now. The liberals, the progressives, they're rooting for World War III at this point. And to me, people hit me up.
They're rooting for World War III until their child gets dragged out the house and drafted to fight over there. They're rooting for World War III until, you know, the effects are felt over here. You know what I'm saying? Until somebody drops a bomb over here in America. You know, that's why these people are crazy. Because if you look at who you're going against, let me tell you again who the Russian allies are. North Korea, China, Iran, South Africa, and Belarus, and the BRICS have so many other nations that are aligned with them, it could just end up being the whole entire world. That's what World War III is going to be. And he's not lying at all.
They tell me that I'm a traitor. You're a traitor. How can you support Trump? How can you support war? How can you keep supporting war? How can you
keep supporting NATO and Europeans that go around the world pillaging, trying to make a one world government? How can you do that?
Supporting, sending taxpayer money abroad. How? How can you sound like a traitor to me?
Word.
How can you keep supporting these agencies that have treated Americans very wrong? How can you keep supporting the IRS? How can you keep supporting all of these different things that really do more harm to Americans than help us?
Exactly.
This is absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts down in the
Listen. Y'all, I'm telling you, what's he saying in here? Somebody's saying something. Look how dumb these people are. The reason why all of the United States allies aren't on Russia's side. Now, I just read you a list of all the allies that Russia has, okay? It's because they don't let far-right media do their thinking for them. Now, look at how dumb this man is, whoever this is. This is the 75-year-old man. This is why, you know, the children are our future, because this man is delusional. The BRICS was created to go against the West, Europe, United States, and Canada. That is who is in NATO. There's 30 European countries and 2 North American, which is United States and Canada, okay? That is it that make up NATO, okay? The whole rest of the world, okay, is drawing it together with the BRICS, okay? Go look about it. Go read about it. And the allies of Russia in this actual war are North Korea, China, Iran, South Africa, and Belarus. So what is he talking about? That he said the reason why all the United States allies aren't on Russia's side. Okay, the only allies that we are aligned with is because of NATO, and Trump is saying that he's about to pull us out of NATO. So what are you talking about? The Europeans are going to stand alone, and the United States will be with the whole entire rest of the world against the Europeans. That's what it's getting ready to be. I'm telling you, if they don't accept this deal, if NATO doesn't get it together, Trump said he's coming out of it because we spend more money on all of these wars. You understand? And he's not a war person. He's not a globalist. He doesn't believe in that. You understand? That's another reason why I like him, because he's not supporting the globalist agenda. He's a nationalist. He wants to see America become the superpower that it should be, and he doesn't want to align with globalists and this one world government. He doesn't want to. So I really feel it's in our best interest to come out of NATO, in my opinion. You understand? So you have this old man. This is what I'm telling you. This old man is believing that Russia has allies. I mean, that Russia doesn't have allies. The whole world is on Russia's side. The only allies that we have is Europe. As small as Europe is with their depleted army, Europe and Canada. We would never stand a chance against the whole rest of the world if they come against us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to keep quoting that Bible verse of the whole world will come against one demonic entity. That is what's happening. I'm not trying to, I feel like it's going to happen anyway. I feel like eventually we will come out of NATO, and then the whole rest of the world is going to attack Europe. And they're just going to be obliterated. And that would be their karma for all they've done to all of the world for all these centuries. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, we've been on here for quite some time, but I don't care, because I want to have this all in one place so that we can revisit this, and I can make sure the reels out of this, because this is crazy. This is crazy to me that you guys are getting on here and supporting this bullshit. It's crazy. I'm going to share my screen. Look at this. This is what our tax dollars are going to go to. This is what our tax dollars are going to go to. You want your tax dollars to go to this?
Energy doesn't lie. Wow. Language is primitive. Because see, somebody that talk good to you gonna know.
Hold on. Look at this. This is Ukraine. Let's rip our people off the street. Ukraine needs more soldiers. So this is what they're doing. Grabbing people off the street.
Я с 15-го года служу, воюю, 2 войны прошел. Я, наоборот, считаю, что долг каждого нашего мужчины, украинца.
С одной стороны, вроде и надо пополнять нашу армию, а с другой стороны, так как они делают это, я считаю, что это неприемлемо.
Вималювалася така ситуація, така картина зараз супротиву між цивільним населенням і ТЦК. ТЦК, на мою думку, воно повністю дискредитує Збройні Сили України в цілому.
І Міністерство оборони, Генеральний штаб, взагалі військово повинні більше цивільним, не військовим, але військовозобов'язаним громадянам України розповідати і казати, інформувати, що все ж таки, які відбуваються на війні, які там стани і так далі.
This is where your tax dollars are going. This is where you want your money to go, is to support somebody doing this to their own people. It's horrific. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Now this, I want to show you, because this is PBS. Y'all like PBS. I try to show y'all, different types of media that are not, propaganda media. Just so you guys can get an idea what the rest of the world is doing, because you're just stuck on stupid and with one narrative. Let me see if I can open this up. With one narrative, but this is PBS. Lacking manpower, Ukraine resorts to harsh means.
Today, a U.S. official said Ukraine should consider dropping the age of eligibility for military conscription from 25 to 18 years.
Soon they're going to start little kids out there, because they've lost an entire generation to this war.
Old. It is a stark acknowledgement that Ukraine simply doesn't have enough troops to fight the seemingly endless volume of.
They don't have enough troops. So guess where they're trying to get them from? From over here, because Europe, they don't really have no armies. They want our people to go and fight that bullshit.
Russian soldiers, especially now that they're being bolstered by North Korean troops.
There you go.
Special correspondent Jack Hewson looks at Ukraine's dilemma and the country's sometimes harsh solutions.
The promise of excitement, thrill, and adventure. This ad is one of hundreds designed to appeal to young Ukrainians to sign up to fight.
These people ain't trying to sign up for that shit. They are hiding. They're spending money to try to say they're just disabled and whatever, and trying to lead the country and do. This is ridiculous. They know they're just going to go out there and die. They lost a whole generation to this war. A whole generation. It's terrible. It's
Some are not well suited for the role. Anton is one of them.
I'm the pacifist, so I avoid any violence, and I can't imagine for now that I will shot someone. But if I have two options, go to the war or go to the jail, I will choose go to the jail.
So this man said he'd rather go sit in a Ukrainian prison than go to war. You know, this is crazy. The people don't want it, but globalists don't care because all they're trying to do is fuel their agenda. And I feel like Europe is realizing that they're not going to win this war, so they're going to come out and they regroup and try to figure out another way to collapse Russia. But I just feel like it's over for them.
Jail.
Others have chosen to leave the country. These men were called.
So let's skip a little bit because we've been watching this for quite some time.
Territorial recruitment officers have been bundling men into the back of vehicles and sending them off to training centers.
This is what you want your tax dollars to go to.
Scores of videos of men being dragged off of the street have emerged on social media.
Yes,
and there are many more who've been deceived in other ways.
And you have to really question your mainstream media why they're not telling you this part of the story. Why would you want your tax dollars to keep a war like this going that the people don't want to fight and they're forcing the people to fight? You have a dictator president that's not holding elections so he can stay in power and keep this going. It's disgusting.
Mikhailo, speaking to me independently of the military chain of command at his new base in Donbass, was tricked into driving straight to a training camp when he voluntarily updated his details at a medical commission office.
So what he's saying is that he went to update, himself, his information or something, and they took him and put him in the war.
Before they took me to car, they was very polite. They smiled at me and they said, everything will be okay. No, don't worry. Everything, just 2 hours and you will come back.
It's terrible.
And when I sit to their car, it's like, I was like a prisoner.
So how did that make you feel? You must have been very angry.
Yeah, I was confused, angry, and lost about this because they even didn't give me time to go home to kiss my wife, to kiss my baby.
Now, isn't that evil? They're just taking these people off the street, taking them as prisoners and making them fight this war, and their family don't even know what happened to them. This is what you want your tax dollars to be spent for. Why don't you call CNN and all these places that's propagandizing you and asking them why they're not telling you this part of the story? This is disgusting. I wouldn't want to pay for this to happen.
Compounding this anger has been arrest footage of government officials with literal piles of cash allegedly harvested from draft dodging scams. This woman...
I feel like God bless the people that's helping the people stay out of the war. You know what I mean? They're getting money. They're in a position where they can keep these people out and they're getting the money. You know, it's the same thing during COVID of like the nurses that were giving the people saline instead of the vaccine. I feel like God bless these people if they can keep you from going out and killing people.
Tatiana Krupa is a regional medical commission head accused of taking bribes to certify individuals as disabled, enabling them to skip military service. The Ukrainian government declined our request for comment on the allegations. President Zelensky has...
And they say that the whole government accepted that deal that Trump had did. Everything was signed. Everything was ready to go. And then he didn't even really need to sign it. It was all ready to go. And he got up there in front of the media and changed his tune. That's what happened. That's what they're not telling you.
Condemned the scandal.
I expect swift and decisive action from law enforcement.
Many like Mikhailo are incensed at the system's injustice.
I think that a lot of people don't want to go to army now because they see how corrupted is our...
There you go. From somebody that is right there living it, saying to you that the people don't want that war because they see the government is corrupt. But that's where you want to put your money in. You want to call another American a traitor because they don't want to support this war. You're retarded.
Government.
Despite this, the mobilization drive is still attracting recruits, like Callsign Guard, here training to be a drone pilot.
And this propagandized fool thinks that, he's doing something great by, being a part of this war because that's how they condition his mind to think. But the reality is no country could war if the people don't fight it, because the people that caused the war are never going to fight it. They want your dumb ass to do it. So if people just refuse to fight these wars for these, demonic ass people, they couldn't have a war. They have to, I guess in Ukraine, they force you to fight it. They come and get you and force your ass out there. You know what I mean? But this is what you want your money to go to. Make it make sense.
Eastern city of Kharkiv.
Basically, we have two
like
choices. Either we don't fight and we all die one way or another. Russia will occupy us.
They're telling them that if they don't fight this war, they're all going to die. No, you're going to die if you keep fighting the war. That's what's going to happen.
They will kill us, rape us. The other choice is to join military and fight. And then we have a chance to win and have a safe life.
There's no chance at winning. You see how they have them programmed? There's no chance at winning. It's been a meat grinder. Look at how young these kids are. You know, it's ridiculous. And it's corrupt. And the people, most of the people know it. He clearly don't know it.
So for me, the choice is obvious.
But there aren't enough young men and women now making this choice. At the beginning of the war, hundreds of thousands volunteered. Now the majority are drafted.
A lot of people volunteered in the beginning because they was all gung-ho and everything, and they was all, you know, propagandized and souped up. And then they started realizing it was a meat grinder, and then less and less people want to do it because they started seeing how many people was dying so fast in it.
Some against their will. On the front line, the lack of keen recruits is sorely felt. We visited an artillery unit near to Chasiv Yar to ask what is most severely needed. Ammunition shortages are a major problem in the face of Russia's advance.
Look at this. They cannot. Why would you want your money to go to this? Now, we've given them so much money already, and they've lost the war. They lost. And they're saying, the men out there saying, we don't have enough men, we don't have enough ammo. I don't care how much money you give them. They're not going to win. Just take the deal and stop this war and stop letting all these people die. You don't see Zelensky out there with no weapon fighting. You know, it doesn't affect him. These people are so full of shit.
But troop shortages are just as critical, in particular, an acute lack of infantry.
And then he wants Trump to guarantee him protection. He wants Trump to guarantee our soldiers to come over there and fight. Fuck out of here.
Any difference from the recruitment drive?
No, we don't know where the newly mobilized people are. Almost nothing has changed for us. They don't add people to help here. Yet they may even.
It's a shame they got these people out there in the field with no, with no assistance coming ever. They don't have enough people to fight. So Zelensky think that Trump is going to send our people over there. He's not going to send our people over there. And the only way he would send our people over there is if it's peaceful and we have, mines over there or something, and our people are over there working or whatever, and he'll send people to protect them. Other than that, I don't see, it's not going to happen. And good for President Trump for saying, fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Take some from here instead.
Many of those on the front are close to exhaustion. Some haven't had a break since they first signed up when Russia invaded in 2022.
So y'all see y'all can watch this on your own time, but you see where this is going. You understand? Only a fool will want their tax dollars to go to this shit here. Now, this is an article that I took the information as far as Russia's allies, because a lot of people don't understand this shit. You can read this article on your own time, but I just want you to see. I'm gonna tell you again. The only allies that Europe has is the United States and Canada. Canada barely has a military, so it's really America that's really funding Europe in this. And Democrats are globalists. So that's why for so many years they put into NATO and stuff like that. Then Trump came along and said, I'm going to pull out of NATO because he doesn't really want to be a part of what they're doing, this globalist agenda that they're doing. And he feels that America is paying too much into it and they're not really getting nothing out of it. And he said he would pull out of it, which I said it like 20 times on this live, but I hope that he does pull out of it. But look at who the allies are. Look at who the allies are. Let's look. North Korea. Okay. I'm just showing you that I'm not making this shit up. You guys can go look at it. North Korea, China. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. Hold on. I always forget because I want y'all to see this. Because mainstream media don't tell y'all nothing and y'all stuck. Okay. So look at this. Who are Russia's allies? Now, mind you, I'm going to say again that Europe only has United States and Canada. That's who they got. And the rest of Europe, all the European countries and the United States and Canada. Okay. So the only reason why United States was in it is because United States are that those democratic administrations are globalists, and they wanted to hop in on this globalist agenda of becoming a one world government where they rule and they go around, they pillage and collapse everything, and they steal their resources and like push in on them and collapse their societies and stuff like that. Okay, that's what they do. Okay, that's what NATO does. Okay, and the United Nations, all of that. That's all globalist shit. Okay, so honestly, without the United States, Europe is butt naked. Okay, and Trump said he would pull out of NATO, and I pray that he does. But look at the allies that they have. North Korea. Now we know how gangster their armies are too. Okay, and then look, China. How big are China's armies? What are we going? What is the United States and Europe going to do against Russia, China, and North Korea? Come on, Iran. They're one of the most gangsters too when it comes to war and warfare and the technologies that they have. They said their drone technology is crazy. You understand? Okay, South Africa. You all mean to tell me that the United States and Europe, as small as Europe is going to go to war against all of these nations, okay? And then you have the BRICS that's also prepared. You know, they, under the Biden administration, they were really about to, Belarus is another one that's also an ally. But under Biden, the BRICS was about to cancel the dollar. And they were about to, you know, really collapse the United States and Europe. You understand? So I feel like, you know, I feel like the United States just got to come out of NATO because, you know, all of this shit that they trying to do, you know, I feel like more and more Americans are not aligned with it. And it's just some globalist shit that nobody really wants to be a part of it. And I feel like they should just, you know, let Europe do what they're going to do. If they want to keep trying to pillage the world and have a one world government, let them try. But the whole rest of the world is against them, you know. And people in America need to get it together. You want to go against the whole entire world with your ally just being Europe? Give me a break. You know, they try to say Europe is a continent. It's not even a continent. They just be making up shit to make themselves seem great. You know, it's bullshit. You know, and we have to wake up to this. Now, I'm going to leave y'all with this final video right here because when I saw this video right here, this is when I was like, oh, hell to the no. I was like, oh, hell no. I don't like him. I was like, oh, no. I don't like him. And let's make it bigger so y'all can see it real good. Because, hold on. Because listen what he going to say. Listen to this shit. Now, when I saw him say, I don't know if mainstream played this or not, but I know when I saw this, I was offended by it. And I was like, fuck him. And let's listen to what he's going to say.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war. And they will have to fight because it's NATO that we're talking about. And
now listen what he's sitting up there saying. He's trying to say, now this is when he was on his gangster shit and everybody was giving him money and they was like, Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. But I don't know if they heard this. I can't see how anybody in their right mind could hear that shit and not be mad about that. You know what I'm saying? He gonna say our kids have to be dying. That's what he said. They have to be dying like the Ukrainians. Why do we have to be dying? This war don't even have nothing to do with us. This is Europe's problem. This don't have nothing to do with us. Why do our people have to be dying? You know what I'm saying? Fucking him.
They will be dying, God forbid, because it's a horrible thing.
Listen, it's horrible for you. Listen to this one more time. Just listen to it one more time.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their.
Listen to him. That's why Trump is like, fuck out of here. You're going to get this money and you're going to give us some minerals and you're going to be peaceful or we're not giving you shit. He thinks that we're going to send our troops over there to the meat grinder that he got going on over there. Y'all, please stop. Please stop.
Their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight because it's
listen to him dictating what we're going to have to do. Our kids will have to fight with them. No, we don't. We don't have to fight for you. Who are you?
NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying, God forbid, because
and they will be dying. He's going to sit there and say the United States has to send troops to help him, and they're going to die. because it's NATO and this and that. Boy, bye. I'm gonna listen to this one more time. Just listen one more time. I want this to be embedded in your freaking brain. This is where you want your tax dollars to go, to somebody like this.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters
Play it again.
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters.
You want to pay your tax dollars and do what?
The U.S. will have to send their sons and daughters exactly the same way as we are sending their sons and daughters to war, and they will have to fight.
Wait, what? He said they have to do what?
Have to fight, because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying.
What? He said they what?
War, and they will have to fight. Because it's NATO that we're talking about, and they will be dying.
They will what? They will what? This is where we're going to send our tax dollars, and we're going to support them to do what?
They will be dying.
Okay. I think you know where this is going, kids. Okay. So we're supposed to, let me get this right. We're supposed to send our tax dollars to help somebody like that in a war where they're telling us that the end result is us sending our people over there and they will be dying. Make it make sense. If Donald Trump don't pull us out of NATO tomorrow, I just don't even know. Let Europe stand alone on their bullshit and get the karma that they deserve. I mean, the people of Europe, they need to, I don't know how they can fix the problem because those are the leaders that they have. I don't know what Europe is going to do. Maybe they all should leave and go to one of these BRICS nations or go to one of these allies of Russia or something, because if the United States pulls out of NATO, it's a wrap for Europe. Can you imagine the whole entire world attack Europe? It would take a day. A day. And I don't think the United States should be a part of it. And I don't think that anybody in this country wants to be a part of some shit like that. So we were on here for a long time today because, I just had to put all this information out there because I feel like y'all are being propagandized or just stupid if you accept this war. And you want to put your money into somebody like that. I cannot even imagine. Thank you so much, Sikander. Thank you. My forthright language. Sometimes my language, could be a little over the meter, but I'm just very passionate about it because, I just want people to wake up to this. And I feel like we could be very close to world peace if you get rid of the people that are not peaceful. You know what I mean? And I always feel it. Nobody wants to hear this, but it's always the Europeans. It's always them. And they're just such a small group of people, in the world, in the whole grand scheme of all these countries that are allies to Russia. You have to really question why all of these countries are allies to Russia and why the BRICS formed. You know what I mean? And Donald Trump is coming in there to try to, stop it, to try to stop the whole world from turning on us, and I feel like it really would probably be in America's best interest to come out of NATO and let Europe deal with that on their own. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's the only way we're going to have peace because they're really the ones that's causing all these conflicts throughout the world. It's always been them for centuries. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. Thank you so much for saying you love the channel. Please subscribe to it and share with people and try to get people to watch this channel because my whole mission is just to get people to wake up to these governments. And I really would love it to see the people united together and people not fall victim to the lies. You understand? And, I feel like God puts on me, like today I wasn't even going to come on here, but my spirit just kept telling me to come on here and, to put this together and say whatever I'm going to say, because I feel like a lot of people are getting hoodwinked. And even though a lot of people have woke up, but I feel like there's a lot of people still out there getting hoodwinked. And, I just want to see that be a thing of the past. And if you guys, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate you. I love you. This means I love you in sign language. So I always put that sign up. So I love you. I appreciate you. You guys, all I can just tell you to do is it's a whole world out there. And you got to stop watching mainstream media. You guys got to get out there and see the world. Go see news from other nations. Really go down the rabbit holes and see what's happening out here, because, we do need to be peaceful. You understand? And I just can't understand how your minds are programmed that you don't see that this president is not a part of that globalist agenda, and he wants to see America, you know, be good, you know. I mean, we live here. We don't want to be in a country attached to a country that the whole world is going to attack. So I'm going to leave you with that. Okay. I am Shelly B. I thank you for watching. I love you. I love you. I love you. If you sat through this with me, I appreciate you so very much. I can't even tell you. And I want you guys to enjoy your Sunday, and just on a more happier note, you know, stay positive, stay in the moment, and just, you know, go down those rabbit holes. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. And you're going to elevate your frequency when you know the truth. Okay. So I'm out now. I'm going to end the stream now. You guys have a lovely day. It's a sunshiny day outside, and just stay positive. And, you know, you got to go down the rabbit hole, y'all. You just got to go down there. I'm pushing y'all down the rabbit hole. I wish I knew how to pronounce your name properly. David Tao. I'm not really sure how to say it, and I don't like to mess up people's names because I don't like when people say my name wrong. He says the slave plantation is the model that capitalists use to exploit the world. It is. You know, we're all still slaves. We're all still slaves. Dave Tao. Okay, got it. Okay, so you know, and you're right. You understand? We're all slaves together under these people, and I do kind of feel like it's an interesting concept that the whole world is uniting against one, which is Europe. Because is Europe really the problem? You understand? If Europe could get it together, could we have peace? You understand? If we could get rid of globalists forever, could we have peace? You know, all of the people that live in Europe don't appreciate this globalist agenda. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they need to vote these people out of office and figure out how they can purge these people from their system. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go now, y'all. I'm going to end the stream now, and have a lovely Sunday. And thank you for being with me. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye. End the stream.